Hallelujah.
King of kings,
Lord of
Lord
lords.
of lords.
Amen.
Emmanuel, God is with us.
Hallelujah.
He is Alpha and Omega.
Amen.
He was the beginning and the end.
Amen.
He is everything for Christians.
Yes.
We follow his teachings, we love him, and we will give our lives for him.
Amen.
Because he gave up his life for us.
Absolutely.
But on the other hand, we've got people who follow the religion called Islam.
Yeah.
And follow the teachings of that prophet called
right.
Muhammad.
Have
Correct,
respect. Have
Yes,
respect.
yes.
Have respect.
Hold on.
Have respect.
Sir, just continue talking.
Have respect when you
Yes,
when you
that's
say
fine.
it the way you say it.
As Muslims follow the teachings of Muhammad,
Yes.
and they follow the Quran,
Yes.
we want to focus on one of the actions of Muhammad and his teachings.
Yes.
And if he has been faithful to his teachings.
Absolutely.
So we want to talk about marriage.
Marriage. Yes. That's the topic.
Marriage is very, very good thing.
Oh, it's a wonderful thing. It's the Bible, speaks clearly, and it says, God sees marriage as a wonderful thing. It says that the bed is undefiled, and marriage is a good thing. It's a gift for mankind that a man can be with a woman in holy matrimony for life, and so. God sees it as a blessing to mankind. So marriage is a good thing. Yeah.
So sex between wife and husband
Yes.
in the wedding bed
Yes.
as couple is a gift from God.
It's a gift.
For mankind.
Yes.
It's very, very good thing.
Yes.
According to Christian scripture,
Yes.
Christians are identified as the church,
Yes.
the bride of groom.
Yes,
So we are
yeah.
the bride for Christ.
Yes.
Also, Islam talks about marriage.
Yes.
And Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, got married with someone called Aisha.
He did. Yes.
One of the wives out of 11.
Yes.
Out of 11. So, man who is over 50
Yes.
got married with a girl, young child, who was only 6
Only six.
and had
Yep.
official sex with her while she was 9 years old.
Yes, she did. Yes, he
So,
did.
can you, brother, tell me, what does Islam teach us about the marriage, especially Prophet of Islam, Muhammad? What does he teach us about marriage?
Yeah.
Why
So.
people should marry?
Yes, it's interesting because Muhammad, according to his Sunnah and the Hadiths, we see that he gave reasons or his own purpose for marriage. Let me just quickly read one of the Hadiths for you in regards to what Muhammad said. Okay, so I'm reading this from narrated Jabir bin Abdullah.
But first, give us your source. What is your source?
Okay, so my source here is Sahih Bukhari. Okay, twice. Yeah, Sahih Bukhari. Okay, so this is what he asked. So we're looking at the purpose and the reason for marriage. Okay, so it says. So he says this: why have you not married? Speak to one of his followers. Why have you not married a virgin to fondle her, fondle with each other? That's what he says there.
One
yeah.
of the reasons Muhammad tells people to marry with a virgin,
Yes.
because man can fondle her.
Correct. Right.
Is that correct, sir?
Is that correct?
You are married. What is the reason you married, sir?
Are you married? Are you married, sir? You're married. Okay, so what's the purpose for marriage according to Muhammad's example?
You are a hypocrite. You are a
Okay.
hypocrite
So
and
so
wicked people.
you don't have an answer. You don't have an answer.
You know what will happen?
Is there
to
any
you?
Muslims-
You will burn in hell for
Okay.
eternity.
Okay. Okay. We appreciate.
Because you are wicked.
We appreciate your
Very
love.
good.
We appreciate your love.
Well done.
So is there any Muslims that can give us the purpose
You're
or the
talking
reason
about the
that God
Christians.
gives us for
You're talking
marriage
about the
according to the
Christian
Quran
marriages, yeah?
and
Go and
the
see your
Islamic
Christian
sources?
fellow.
Yes.
Can
you answer?
See your Christian fellow.
Okay.
How many are doing fornication
It
and
is
going
very
around
clear.
their wife?
Islamic Dawah team once again
nothing
has
to do with
no
Islamic Dawah.
answer. So,
Nothing to do with
question
Islamic
was,
Dawah.
What is the
Ask-
reason
why
Muhammad
Jesus
encouraged
didn't get
people to
married
get
then?
married with a virgin?
Why didn't Jesus get married?
Islamic Dawah team
Islamic
has no
Dawah team?
answer, and their polemic is why Jesus didn't marry him.
Why don't you cover your hair?
that's not my
Why don't you cover
question.
your hair according to your Bible?
Ask my question
Why
once
you don't
again.
cover your hair?
What is the reason? Prophet of Islam called Muhammad
You are
gives
wicked people.
to get married with a virgin.
Okay,
You want to
let's
spread
help you
doubt
out. Let's
about
help you out.
Prophet
Let's
Muhammad
read.
to promote your religion.
Okay,
The
okay,
religion of
sir.
three and one and
Sir,
three.
let's read.
You have
Let's
believed
read.
one, you got three.
Let's
Can
read
you
this
read
here.
the Hadith again?
Yeah, let's read it. Okay, I'll read it. Sahih Bukhari,
What about Jesus?
volume 7,
Why did
number
he get
17.
married?
Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah.
When he was begat
When
himself,
I
from
got
Mary,
married,
he's a-
Allah's apostle said to me, "What type of lady have you married?" I replied,
Good question.
"What type of lady have you married?" Yes, so I replied, "I have married a matron." He said, "Why don't you have likings for virgins and for fondling them?"
Okay.
Jabir also said, Allah's apostle said, "Why didn't you
Yeah, because Sahih Bukhari has become the second
Hold on.
man, yeah?
Brother, finish this.
Why didn't you marry a young girl so that you might play with her and she with you?"
Like it again. Correct.
Muhammad is asking very, very good question.
Yes,
Why did you not marry with a virgin?
that's the question, yeah? Yeah.
And reasoning with that, so you can fondle her.
Fondle her.
You can play with one another. So,
That's right.
what does that word mean, brother? You are the English speaker.
Right, I don't know. Well, the word fondling, according to the fatwa, yes, the fatwa, which is obviously the legal decision
Why marry?
Decision
made by the scholars.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Okay, I'm going to read you what the scholars say in regards to what fondling means. Okay,
So let's hear what is
Why
a
your
fondling.
Bible teaches
okay.
According to Muslim
So,
scholars.
so the term mufakata, yeah, okay, this is what it says in fatwa number 92051.
Is that from Saudi Arabia?
This is from Saudi Arabia Islamic website. This is what a fatwa says. Okay, right. Now this is all perfect praise to be Allah, the Lord of the worlds. I testify that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, and that Muhammad is his slave. And the message we ask Allah to exalt his mention as well as that of his family and all his companions. The term mufakata means to have foreplay with the wife in between her thighs. It is reported in one narration that when the Prophet wanted to enjoy one of the wives who was in menstruation, he would put a piece of cloth on her vagina, i.e. cover it. Ibn Majah, the author of Fadia al-Qaeda, interpreted the expression if he wanted to enjoy to mean having all permissible foreplay but avoiding the vagina or the anus, like in between the thighs, i.e. mufakata. That's what the
I thought you wouldn't read that, but anyway.
this is
So
what they
according to
yeah.
Islamic tradition,
That's right.
fondling is not something nice.
It's not something nice.
I wouldn't want to be in that place.
Fine.
And shame
Yeah.
of the Prophet of Islam
Yeah.
who put a young girl called Aisha
Yes.
in that place.
Position.
And Islamic tradition encourages people,
Yes.
encourages men to marry with a virgin so they can practice that ugly thing. That's ugly. That's ugly.
This is despicable, disgusting.
So let's look at the other examples from the Islamic tradition again, and
Yes.
then see are there other hadiths can support that. Even though our hadiths, our narrations comes from the Sahih Bukhari, they already identify as the reliable
right.
teachings of Muhammad, reliable customs of Muhammad.
That's correct. Yes, yes, yes.
And we just see there is a fight
Okay,
over there,
another
and
fight
police
with
steps
is that the Islamic Dawa team again?
in. Yeah, police steps in. Let's continue.
Okay, so should we go on to this?
So let's look
Yeah.
at the Sahih Bukhari 762,
Yes.
16, another hadith which supports the same thing.
Okay, so it says, you gonna read it or should
Why
I?
didn't you marry a young girl so that you may play with her and she play with you? So another hadith supports narrations which my brother just read it. It's not only one narration, it is narration after narration after narration.
Of course.
Prophet of Islam
Yes.
is encouraging men to marry a virgin
Yes.
so they can fondle her.
Fondle one another. Yes.
It is the man who is doing the job. It's not the girl.
Well, yes.
So, and also, we look at again Islamic tradition, and then we see how did Muhammad engage with Aisha in a sexual sense. For example, we know in Islam, when Muslims fast, they cannot have sex. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
In Islam, you cannot have sex if you are fasting. In Islam, you cannot have sex with a girl who is having her period.
That's correct.
They haven't finished that period yet.
Yes.
Does Muhammad, as the prophet of Islam, best example to mankind, follow that example while he was married with Aisha?
That's an interesting question. I think we should look at that into detail because, of course, he's supposed to be this great example. He's supposed to be not only a great example for Muslims, but for all of mankind. And so we should see, or we should observe him following or practicing, the teaching of the Quran, which forbids intercourse of any kind, especially during menstruation, with your wife. And so should we read the verse?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it says here, narrated. Okay, so Sunan Abu Dawud, 13, 2380. That's the page. Okay, it's Hadith number. Okay, it says narrated Aisha al Mumin. The Prophet used to kiss her and suck her tongue when he was fasting. Now, is this the great example that we mentioned for? Because we know that it was prohibited. It was, it's not allowed for somebody to have in any form of sexual relations with their wife whilst they're fasting. But here we have one of our trusted hadiths showing Muhammad not only while he was fasting, but sucking this young Aisha's tongue.
I don't want to say it, but in one sense it's disgusting. And remember, as this event takes place, we are talking about old man who is in his 50s versus a young child. Very, very young child. As old man who's supposed to be example to his community, his ummah, he is sucking the tongue of Aisha.
That's right.
While he's fasting. While he's fasting. He's going against Quran. He's going against his own teaching. Plus he's just doing something nasty to God.
Very, very disgusting. Should we read menstruation?
Yes, please.
Okay. So again, Sahih Bukhari, Volume 1, number 298. It says here, narrated Aisha, the Prophet and I used to take a bath from a single pot, and we were junub. During the menses, which is menstruation, he used to order me to put on an izar, which is a dress. Okay, and it says, and used to fondle me while in litkaf. He used to bring his head near me, and I would wash it while I used to be on my periods.
So another hadith, this one has been narrated by Aisha herself.
Correct.
It is the wife of Muhammad.
Yes.
Aisha testifies while she is having her period, a man called Muhammad, who is her husband, who is in his 50s, asks her to have bath and wants to fondle her. Again, Muhammad goes against Quran. Muhammad goes against his teaching to just pleasure himself.
Now, can we really call that a prophet of God who receives this so-called quote-unquote divine revelation from God and then goes and breaks this by doing the exact opposite that God told him not to do, which is continue having sexual relations with a young girl, even though she's on her period? I mean, can we say this person is truly from God? It's just a question that we need to throw out there.
Good thing is that we are Christians. We do not have to. We cannot follow example of Muhammad.
That's right.
And while we see Muhammad goes against Allah, Muhammad goes against Quran.
That's right.
And Muhammad uses his wife, his child wife.
While
even like if you read the hadith, she's complaining, oh, that shouldn't take place.
Yeah.
Child
Yeah.
is correcting the old man, but Muhammad goes for his desire and still fondle her.
But wait a minute, I thought it's Muhammad that's meant to be the prophet. I thought Muhammad's meant to be the adult and the one who's supposed to be guiding the young child, but she's now correcting him. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow.
It's called Welcome to the World of Islam.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the world of Islam.
Ah, yes.
As we saw from the Islamic teachings, Muhammad encourages and gives reason for men to marry a virgin.
Yes.
It's not so they can have happily married.
No.
It's not they can share one bed, one life until one of them is died. But it is because he can fondle her. As this is the reason for marriage in Islam, to marry a virgin. What else does Muhammad teaches or encourages people for young girls?
Yeah.
So we know like Muhammad married with this young girl Aisha.
Yes.
But did Muhammad have that lust to other people?
Yeah, he did. I mean, let's read it. I mean, according to let me just read it for you before I elaborate a little bit. According to Ibn Ishaq,
Which is one of the earliest biography of Muhammad.
yep, under the life of Muhammad, page 311, it says this: when she was a baby crawling before him, and said, if she grows up and I am still alive, I will marry her. So here, Muhammad is watching a little baby crawling around, and he's looking at this tiny baby, and he's saying, you know, when she grows up, I'm going to marry her. So already, prior to Aisha, he's already showing desires for a little child prior to them growing up, which is very disturbing to me.
You are father.
I am a father, yes, yeah.
What would you feel if your relative is in his 50s?
Yeah.
Look at your daughter in that way.
Uh,
What would you turn and say to that man?
to be honest with you, I mean, probably the first thing I'll be thinking about is this person,
Punching him off.
possibly, but no. I'll be thinking this person probably needs to be locked up, he shouldn't be around children, and I'll do everything within my power as a father to protect that young baby from any type of molestation, yes.
But you are having those thoughts only someone who is old and visiting your house.
Yes.
But in the hadith, the person who is looking at this child with that lustful eyes is the man called Muhammad.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he is the example to all mankind. He's the best
Correct.
pattern everyone was supposed to follow.
Yep.
Good
Yeah,
thing
apparently.
that, Good thing that you weren't alive in 7th century. Good thing that you didn't have a child in 7th century,
Yeah.
which Muhammad came and visited.
Yep.
That's a good thing.
That's
Do you have any other narrations, brother?
well, let's have a look. Let's see some more from our prophets.
So we just looked at one of the examples where we saw Muhammad had lustful thoughts towards the baby. Do we have any other Islamic sources which confirms that?
Okay, yeah, so let me read it for you. Muhammad saw Habiba, the daughter of Abbas, while she was fatim, in other words, age of nursing.
Which is, how old are in that age?
Under 3?
Yeah, under 3.
Yeah, okay. And he said, if she grows up while I am still alive, I will marry her. This is Musnad Ahmad. Yes, one of the hadiths, yes.
25,636.
Okay. So it seems to me that he had a knack for looking at even young tiny babies who are crawling, and also even toddlers at nursing age, and having a desire, or even looking at them as marriageable objects, which is very sad and disturbing. Yeah.
I think in one sense, yes, it is sad and disturbing. Yes, those are the only a few small, tiny moral examples comes from the Muhammad to us.
Yes.
As a Christian, we will never follow men who claim to be from God, yet practice those thoughts
No way.
and those actions.
Absolutely
So
not.
it's a good example for us that we know what to follow
Yes.
and we know what to not follow.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So overall summary,
Yes.
we saw a man who is in his 50s
Yes.
start fondling a girl. She was in her 6 years old.
6 years old,
So,
yes.
and she stayed with her until age 15, until Muhammad
Yeah.
died.
Yes.
We saw how Muhammad encouraged people to marry a virgin
Yes.
so that it's not they happily marry forever.
No.
It wasn't love on the first sight, but it was because man can fondle a girl.
Yeah, self-gratification, lustful desires to be quenched, and so it's just to get to appease his own desires, his own lusts. Yeah, so
So reason after reason, we look at the Islamic tradition, we look at the life of Muhammad,
Yes.
and it comes out very clear.
yes.
This man, Muhammad, cannot be the prophet of God.
No way, no
He
way.
broke the law of God,
Yes, he did.
which is you cannot have sex while you are fasting.
Yep,
You
yep.
cannot suck someone else's tongue while you are fasting. You cannot fondle or touch a woman who
Yeah.
is unclean while you are fasting.
Correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Best example to mankind comes and breaks the law of Allah.
Yeah.
It seems Allah is okay with that because Allah in the Quran never condemns those actions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
As a
yeah.
Christian woman, I am disturbed,
Yes.
and I can see as a Christian man,
Christian
you are
man
disturbed.
and a Christian father. I am, yeah, I have, yeah. It's
So good
horrifying.
Good thing
Yeah.
that today Muhammad is not with us, that he can practice that.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
But remember, when we have those disturbing Islamic traditions,
Yes.
the way Muhammad encourages men to marry a virgin so they can fondle her,
Yeah.
we look at the Christian scripture,
Yes.
and then we see what is the Christian scripture teaches about marriage and marriage in life.
Can I read some of those scriptures? I've got them. Yeah, I've got them here. Okay.
Ephesians will be one of them.
Yes, absolutely. So let me start off with Ephesians, which is chapter 5, verse 25. So we're looking at what is really God's purpose, because we've already said that according to the Bible, God says that marriage is honorable and the marriage bed undefiled. So we want to look at why does God give us this beautiful gift of marriage? Well, let's look at Ephesians 5:25 and we look at others. Okay. So it says here, chapter 20, verse 25.
We're going to read it from 22.
22, you read, okay, you read it from 22 as a,
Okay,
yeah, because I've got stuff from
I'll read
25.
it from the 22 so we see the context.
That's right, yeah.
Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord.
Yes,
For the husband is the head of the wife,
Correct.
as Christ is the head of the church.
yes,
His body, of which he is the Savior.
Yeah.
Now, as the church submits to Christ, so as wives should submit to their husbands in everything. And then you go to the verse 25.
25, it says here, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself up for it. And so clearly, God's given us this blueprint. He's saying, listen, okay, yes, wives must submit to their husband, but it's also saying that husbands should love their wives just as Christ loved the church. How did Christ love the church? But we'll see that in Romans chapter 5. It says, for God demonstrated his love towards us in that while we were sinners, Christ died for us. Christ died for the church so that we could have eternal life and salvation. Same way, we must love our husband must love their wives, even to the point of sacrificing their lives for his home, for his family, and for particularly his wife.
And it
Yes.
goes on to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with the water through the word.
Yes.
And present her to himself as a radiant to church,
Yes.
without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish,
Yes.
but holy and blameless.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes.
husband
Yes.
has very, very difficult job, duty to do.
Yes.
You need to love your wife
Yes.
the way Christ loved the church.
That's right.
He gave his life for the church.
Absolutely.
He nailed himself on the cross for the church.
Right.
And you need to love your wife in that way.
Yes.
Plus, you need to make her holy.
Yes.
You need to make her beautiful bride
Yes.
without any wrinkles,
Yes.
without any blemish.
Wow.
That's very
Yes.
big.
It's
and
a difficult job we got, lads. But yes, that's and that's the contrast we see. We see, on one hand, you know, the teaching of the Bible speaks about a love which is not self-centered, not self-focused. It's not to fulfill our own lustful desires and gratify ourselves. On the other hand, you have a prophet called Muhammad, whose very core reason to get married was to fondle young girls and to fulfill his own desires, whatever they may be. And so one is given of yourself, the other one is taken from others.
For
Yes,
for
your
your
own
lustful desires.
for your own lustful desires, which is the difference between the God of the Bible, Jesus Christ, and the Allah and His Prophet Muhammad in Islam.
Yeah, as we say, it's another reason.
Yes.
Another reason confirms for us that Muslims cannot worship a creator called Allah,
Yeah.
and they should not follow the example of man called Muhammad.
No,
because
bad example.
Teaching is disturbing and it
Yes.
is bad and bad and bad example.
absolutely.
But as my brother read it from the Christian scripture,
Yes.
the alternative of Lord Jesus' teachings
Yes.
and his lifestyle.
Yes.
Therefore, there is no any other way under the heaven you will be saved unless you bow down to Lord Jesus Christ and
Jesus
worship
Christ.
Him and follow His teachings.
Amen. 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 Amen.
Thank you, brother.
God bless you, sister.
bless
Yeah. You can